Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lesson 3 in a series of new lessons on how to gain wealth, health, and prosperity in your life. Health, wealth, and prosperity are just not tangible goals, but the goals you have to achieve first in your mind. You have to practice health, wealth, and prosperity if you want to achieve it in real life. And so what I teach is it's not just thinking positive, but thinking practically, because it doesn't matter how much you know, it's what you show that makes a difference in your life. And so what you show people is what they see. They don't necessarily see what you know, they see what you show them. And that's your confidence. You have to come across as confident to people. If you don't come across with confidence to people, it doesn't matter if you are confident. You have to be able to modulate and change your voice, your tone, your delivery, and how you communicate to be better and more effective. And so it's not enough if you're an artist, for instance, to write a hit song, sing, make a great performance, produce a great record. That doesn't make you successful in the worldly sense of the word. So you want to be successful, you have to show people yourself to be successful to people before they will identify you as a success, a talent, your music as a hit. All these things are perceptions. And it's the perceptions and people that control the narratives that make up the stories or the perceptions of what we hear and see in the media is how most music and art is evaluated. You know, most people would know a hit song if they heard it. It's repeated listening, hearing something repeatedly over and over and over again. And that's what social media is. It's a machine that just repeats, brings to the public mind music, artists, performances, and through this repeated viewing and seeing, people begin to associate talent, skill, and ability with the artist. That doesn't mean you don't want to be skillful. It helps to be skilled and be perceived as confident and capable of achieving your goals. And so sometimes I have students, they say, well, I don't like money. I don't care for money. Well, I don't care for money either, but money's a way of measuring things, and people measure themselves against you, against each other, against what likes and dislikes of other people. And so you want to be perceived a certain way. Then money is a way that people can measure things and give you a proper hearing, if you will, be able to hear about you and identify with you. So unless people have heard about you, they can't identify with you, and then you won't be more successful, at least in their eyes. So why do I talk about this? Well, because we all have dreams. But dreams is not the same as having a vision. You have to have a vision in order to succeed in life. A true success comes from attaining and retaining a vision. And so why is that? Well, a dream is what gets you started. You want to take music lessons, you want to aspire to be a professional, or you want to have some kind of success in your life. Well, that's a start. But then what happens when you have a dream? Sooner or later, you got to wake up. When you wake up, it's now you're in the real world. You're not in the dream world anymore. You want people to like you. Well, if you're very successful, you'll find there'll be people who won't like you. And that has to be okay. As many people as don't like you, though, more people will find you, identify with you, and become your supporters and fans. So sometimes I see my students make wonderful progress, but then they have a bad experience. Somebody said something to somebody and they didn't, they don't like you, they don't think you're any good or whatever it is. But they just don't know you. And you haven't really presented that confident person that they really need to see for them to understand, or at least perceive the way you would perceive yourself. And so you can have confidence within, but you got to show yourself to be a confident person. See, when you can show yourself to be confident, that's what true competence is. See, some people think competence is just the ability to play or to sing or write songs or perform or whatever, but really confidence is competence when you show yourself to be confident. Show yourself to be confident. So I love it when I see my students learning skills and I see them growing in self-confidence, inner confidence. But then they have to realize that when you're performing in front of the public are not necessarily the best judge of music, of your talents or your potential. That's why you come to me. I see, as a developer, I can see your talent. I love your confidence. But you got to show confidence to get confidence from other people, to gain confidence of others. Confidence is like a word that has the meaning of being together. You got your shit together. That's ultimately what confidence means. So you have a certain confidence with, say, playing the piano. Okay, that's great. But that doesn't make you a concert pianist. A pianist doesn't make you a public performer. And then as a public performer, that doesn't really make you known or recognized for your piano talent. That requires a degree of showmanship. It's how you show your confidence, how people perceive you to be confident, not just that you are confident. And that's how your success will grow. And so I constantly hear these stories. People say, well, I want to become, a music artist, but I don't. All the record labels are crooks. I don't want to work with a record label. Well, maybe they are. But you want to produce yourself? Well, how are you going to do that? Are you a producer? Maybe you need to find a producer or study record labels to know how to produce and promote yourself, your own music. Because who's going to promote you? No one hears about you. It's like you're like a tree in the forest, There's that philosophical quotation, tree falls in the forest. If nobody hears it, did the tree fall? Or the tree falls only when someone heard the tree fall, okay? So there's an understanding you have to have. An understanding is like a contract you have to make with yourself. You have to be real with yourself. And so you need to have a certain understanding of your own self-competence, what things you're capable of and what you're able to do for yourself. But at the same time, you have to know how to project confidence to other people, how to project confidence. So let me give you an example. Years ago, I had a student of mine, great friend, and he was taking lessons from me, and he could hit high notes with ease. Had no problem with hitting low notes, high notes, singing different keys, and was very confident in his competent ability to sing and had great vocal control, it's called. And so one day he was doing a performance. It was a sold-out show, standing room only. People were still, even during the show, were still lined up outside. They couldn't fit them all in this building. And there I am, and he's singing, and he's singing, and he's putting on a show. He goes like for this high note, and it looks like he's putting everything into it, his whole heart and soul into singing this note. And he makes it look really hard, and he holds the mic like this and stands back and belts it, right? And then after the show, he said, well, that note actually was super easy for me to sing. I could have hit it in my sleep, okay? But people want to feel they have to reach for that note. They need to identify with how you sing and how you perform. And visually, people tend to hear with their eyes, not with ears, okay? That's how it is. That's why music business is called the business of show. Because it's something you got to show, people got to see. You have to have a vision of how people see you, perceive you when you're performing on a stage. You have a great song, it's all presentation, man. It's how you present yourself to the world. And you got to have that you got to be ready. And initially when you present yourself, people go, well, who's that? I never heard of him. What does he know? And then when you, like my voice teacher and my different mentors I've had, producer, friend, people that mentored me in recording and producing in other areas, they may be famous, they may be liked, but that's not how it's, a lot of people went to see my voice teacher, Maestro Kyle, and didn't care for him. But with Maestro, it didn't matter. He knew his business, he knew his practice as a teacher, he knew what he was doing. And eventually he gained and won the confidence of those that he became more known. And as he became better known, he became extremely popular. He was a teacher of many famous singers, Lane Staley, many well-known bands. But it takes time, and it's a certain course you have to follow. That course of success is not for everyone. I'm not a public person myself, and I'm not a public performer myself. I like to work behind the scenes. I want to get known as a teacher and a trainer and a music guy, someone that knows the music business from the inside out, meaning that I have been there, done that, but I prefer to be where I am, where I can grow, and we can grow together, and I can grow with others. I'm not sitting here with a cigar telling you I could do this, I can do that. I can't do anything. All I can do is show you how to do what you want, and then I can help you, right? So I'm just giving you the basics, just how the basics work, how you need to know what the basics are, first of all. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today in reference to my own life. In December 23rd, I got out of a hospital. I've been in a hospital 6 months. It was tough because that 6 months in a hospital was not a planned on my part. I thought I was just going to go to a doctor for one day, get something for some swelling on my edema, swelling on my feet, and just go home and continue on my way. But it didn't turn out that way. I got into the hospital suddenly. They had a prognosis was very serious, and I suddenly found myself, literally, facing life and death at least 3 times on 3 different occasions, where I just simply passed out and woke up in an ambulance and keep going from one hospital to the other, but not home. Finally, on the 23rd of December, 2/25, I got home. And on the Christmas Eve, the 24th and 25th, was my first full day where I have not stepped in my apartment for one day, okay, since it was like June 27th, 2/25, when I first was admitted to the hospital. Then, now I'm home, okay? So now the first week, 23rd to, the 23rd till the end of that week was Christmas Eve. I just had to get settled in. The apartment I have had been purchased by a whole new rental company. The rent had gone up considerably since I was away. And, it was a whole new game, whole new paradigm, they call it. And so my first full week home really didn't start until the Sunday, was Sunday of the, the 4th of December, 4th of January, to today, the 11th. And, this week will be the third full week. So at the end of this week will be, next Sunday will be the 18th. So this will be the first 3 weeks, full weeks, since I've been home. Now, why I describe these things this way to you is because I have what I call a timetable. I only have so much time to get things done. And so you got to have not just a game plan, but a timetable in which you have to be able to plan and execute your vision, or it won't happen. See? When you dream something, it doesn't matter when it happens. You don't need a timetable. You just, roll around, go back to bed, have yourself another dream. But when you're operating on a vision, having a vision of what you want to achieve, then you have to have a plan and a timetable to go with that plan, and that would be your strategy. So my strategy I had when I was in the hospital, I had a counselor who told me, okay, you need a long-term, short-term, mid-term goal, right? So my long-term goal then was to get back home, not to get out of the hospital, not go to a nursing home. They wanted me to go to a nursing home. And, but I had to survive. I had to pay my rent, even though I wasn't there, because if I didn't have a place to go, place to stay, it would have been difficult for me to not go to a nursing home, because sometimes you just, if you financially are impoverished, then the nursing home is where the state pays for your health care, and they take all your Social Security, literally all your money, and so that you get taken care of. And that's never what I wanted. I wanted to be independent. I want to be self-sufficient, and I want to take care of myself. Thank you. Now I'm home. I have home care, meaning I do have aides that come through home care and help me with things I need. My energy is good, but then I run out of gas. And when I run out of gas, my legs start shaking and I literally fall down. And there's great risk if I don't manage my symptoms. Okay, so I manage my symptoms with exercise. That helps, but then I get very tired. I manage it with medication, things that help and give me to maintain my, blood pressure, and to be able to also not become anemic, and to keep up a diet, maintain my iron and certain nutritions that I need. So I have what is called a renal heart-friendly diet, cardiac and renal friendly diet. And so there's a lot of stuff that I had to study, but there was a long-term goal of getting home. Now my long-term goal is getting back on my feet in business, because I've been doing it here and there, but I want to do it a whole new way now. Whole new way. I want to go to the next level. And so let me describe that to you. First thing is, when you've been, for a while, you have to, with starting out in anything, the biggest problem you're going to have is cash flow, unless you're already born with a silver spoon in your mouth and you don't have to think about money, which is, if that's true, that's, God bless you. That's great. But if you want to start a business from scratch, which very few people do and can, even you have to be able to excel in your business strategy. It takes a better strategy for success to achieve success. And so cash flow is the first thing you're going to struggle with. You have to get some cash flow. So let's say you're a best-selling author, and I've had several interviews I've done with best-selling authors, and I've asked, these are questions and things why I'm so intrigued by writers, because they initially, when they have a bestseller, they have success, initial success, they make a lot of money, but then right after, they don't make much money at all. And so they have to wait. They have to have. Then stage 2 is to find a way to sustain your success. That's what going to take time. You see, that takes longer. Initially, you got to make money to have money to make money. Okay. Step number 2. Then you have to have a midterm goal, which is how to sustain what you earn, what you make. You have to sustain your success. So I have artist friends who are writers, and they've been over that. They found ways to have multiple bestsellers and books, and so through multiple best-selling books, they're able to sustain the initial success they had, continually to earn and grow their income. And then the long-term goal is, what is it all for? You have to have a goal in mind just before you can even begin. You need to know in the long term, what is your intention or purpose in life? Mine is to help people grow in health, wealth, and prosperity. In other words, find the health and wealth and the prosperity that suits your needs, that fit your objectives, what you want to attain, not just what you want to ascertain. I always wanted to know how to help someone start a music career from scratch to the top. And when I started out, my long-term goal was to be able to do it all: produce, develop artists, and teach music, like instruments, piano, guitar, any instruments, and to be able to have voice as well as continue as a voice teacher. And so I did an internship with a record producer. I've talked about him in previous recordings, and that was for me to kind of make my bones. I wasn't making money. I didn't make a lot of money. First record I produced, I didn't make a dime really. I just had a student. We were doing lessons, and I agreed to produce them, and then we financed the record, got the money together to hire and to finance buy the record time studio. It was something like $13,000, something like that. But I didn't get a production retainer and fee up front, but that's because I wouldn't have been able to do it. I needed to get the experience, and I needed to have the experience of producing and making a record, which I did. To me, it was like my master class, because I learned so much. And I learned from other people I was able to afford to hire to be part of the project, namely my engineer. And a great engineer. So here you are, you learn the business, but you're not making money. You maybe even if you're an author, you have a book published, and maybe your first book, you don't make any money. It's not that it becomes an instant bestseller. Well, that's okay. You're learning how to write, you're learning how to present, and you're learning how to show yourself to be confident and competent to other people. And that's a talent in itself. But I've always been curious about art, and what art is really the ability to have a thought and be able to translate that thought to the minds of other people through your work, through your music, through your guitar playing, or whatever your medium of art is. So And so I've always been primarily interested in artists. I've always wanted the respect of my peers, people that I think are on the level that I want to be on, because those people would encourage me and mentor me and help me to get on the level I would become, see where I want to go. They help me get where I want to go. And so I've had many great teachers, and these are a lot of things I talk about in my videos. Now, I'm going to try to make this video short. I've been making what I call long-term videos, long-running videos on YouTube, because that's what usually in the beginning you want to build a YouTube channel, which is what I want to do in the future, my long-term goal. And so you start out with long-form YouTube videos, maybe not make them as, when I was in the hospital, I was making videos like every day. So I'm not making videos now as frequently, okay? I'm not making as many videos, but I'm making longer videos so then I can make shorts, make shorter, break this video like we're watching right now into smaller segments. I learned this from, from people who've interviewed me, and then I see myself in a long form interview, and I'm going, wow, this is fantastic. They're just asking me about everything about me, and it was very exciting to me to be able to be interviewed. Some people interviewed me. They've interviewed, Gene Simmons of Kiss. They interviewed celebrities, and here I am, nobody, being interviewed on someone's radio show. And these people really know their business. And so I'm like really honored, but I'm also aware that this is a long-term goal I have. I'm not naive to think that I get on a, Joe Rogan podcast or whatever, and then the next day I'm going to be known everywhere and loved. It doesn't work that way. You have to build up your following, and you have to also, people are going to have to compare you with what is already they know. And in first, that may not compare very well, in their mind, but still, you just keep doing what you're doing, and your business will eventually grow. All right. So cash flow, that's the first thing. How to keep a roof over your head, how to manage what you have, with what you have. I just bought a desk here. You can see I had to borrow money to afford it, which I can't afford it. It's just a little desk. But it's great because now I have things to write on. When I moved back in my apartment, I had no tables, no surface to write on. When I was in the hospital, I had to write all the time in the bed. I had no pen, no paper, nothing to write with. It took me a while to get this desk and get this together, but this is what you do when you don't have the money. You have to borrow the money, or people find people that would donate money, and so I had started a GoFundMe, and it helped me a lot, and I continue to have that GoFundMe because it's still an issue until I start to earn and grow. Then you have to have money to make money. It's that simple. So you have to be realistic. You have to learn how to not only dream about things and have a dream for what you want. But you need to, with that, given your dream, whatever that may be, then start to formulate what is your vision for your dream. How do you think you can achieve this? And don't assume just because you're talented or don't have talent or whatever. You need to develop the skills, but also learn the business. And it's a combination of those things that'll make you happier and more successful in the way other people measure goals. All right. So I'm going to try to conclude this video now. I realize a lot of things I'm saying is it's too much, but that's the whole point. You just get it out there. I'm just trying to get it out there, tell it to you the way it is, be transparent with you. Whether you understand what get it or not, it doesn't matter. You're hearing it, all right? And that's all that matters. Your subconscious remembers everything you've ever heard, whether or not you agree with it or make sense of it. It's there in your subconscious mind. You've heard it, and you can't unhear something once you've heard it. And so, when I started taking singing lessons, or when I started to meet my mentors, they seemed a little screwy to me. I wondered what they're talking about, and they talk so fast, seem to say so much, and that I didn't understand. My voice teacher, God bless his soul, he's been dead now like 10 years, or 20 years, I think. He died in 2004, Maestro Kyle. And, but I'm still learning. All those lessons I took are still growing in I'm still learning. I'm learning about him, just because you never forget those things once you hear the truth. That truth's going to grow in your mind like a seed, and that's that seed of truth that you just got from somebody that eventually is going to set you free. The truth will set you free. So the truth is not what you understand. It's not the intellectual understanding of something. It's just understanding a simple precept. The Bible calls it precept, concept. It's a seed, something you have to sow in your mind, a thought that you plant in your mind that will grow over time, that will lead you to aspire and inspire you to achieve your goals. So that's a vision. To make your dreams come true, you need to stop dreaming, only just dreaming, and start achieving with having a vision. Having some kind of timetable for how you practice is a beginning. What I recommend is start with a little practice, then grow and develop into more practice. If you practice too much at one time, your brain can't assimilate what you're learning, and then you're not able to execute effectively. So to execute effectively, that's why sometimes I'll do mini lessons with people, because I know there's only so much the time they have and only so much they can do. And it's better to just find what you can do given your time and situation, and then just do that and be faithful to every little thing. You will add up to all the big things. And the simple things will resolve all the complexities and complex things in life that you don't need to understand about right now. But start with the simple, work to the more complex, start with the easy, and then the difficult things will be also easy. They don't have to be hard. It's not about how much you practice, how much time you put into things. It's a matter of balance. You start with doing what you can handle, what you can manage. And then through balance, you find the more you do, the more you're able to manage, the more success you'll have. Okay? So I'm just laying it out there, trying to spare you your time, save you time here, even if you don't understand much. Whatever you gather from these videos, share it with me. I'd love to hear from you. I'll talk more here, but as I go and kind of share with you the journey and the adventure. It's so good to be alive, so good to be home, and so good to be here talking with you. Okay? Stay tuned. Thank you. I love you all. Bye-bye.